tell us exactly what you're doing these days. And it's going to be speaking on behalf of Mexico. And Mexico has managed to, thus far, navigate the very slippery tightrope of dealing with your northern neighbor pretty deftly and impressively. But tell us how you see the outlook for growth right now with Mexico, because of course we do have a situation where America's trying to suck out a lot of the factories that have been based in Mexico up into the north, which could certainly undermine your growth. And you are under pressure from many sides now. So tell us what you're doing to try and maintain growth.
Thank you. Well, we're excited to be here. So when President Sheinbaum started her campaign in November 2023, she had three main priorities on the regional economic development and nearshoring side. On the one hand, she realized that there was a need to reimagine or transform the relationship that private initiative, academics, and government had of working together. And so she created this business advisory council that I chair, that is part of the economic cabinet and that works very closely together to set industrial policy that can not only spike growth, but also shared prosperity. The second thing, or her second conviction, was that Mexico needed not only a government plan for investment and for growth, but a country plan that had a long-term vision of where we wanted to be and how do we get there. Not only with the infrastructure enablers, airports, ports, freight trains, cross-border transit and whatnot, that give us more competitiveness, but also an infrastructure that gives you welfare, right? Hospitals, schools, et cetera, et cetera. And that all of these should be in one grand plan that had very specific KPIs. And that was Plan Mexico. She presented Plan Mexico exactly 1 year ago. Plan Mexico is a plan that was built with private initiative, with the academics in Mexico. It has 13 goals. The first one, the last one, are probably the most general and the most ambitious. We want to be one of the top 10 economies in the world. We're currently number 12. And we want to be a country with less poverty and less inequality. The past 6 years, government policies, particularly the raise in minimum wage, have gotten 13 million people out of poverty in Mexico. And the rest of the goals, number 2 to 12, is how we intend to get there. And some of my fellow panelists have already touched on this. But the goal number 2 is we want that 25% of our GDP is investment, at least by 2026.
25%?
25%. And want to pull it up to 28% by 2030, because that's the only way to break the growth barrier, right? But we also want that we are, as you know, one of the top 6 countries with most engineer graduates and STEM graduates in the world. We have more than double than Brazil yearly. We have more per capita than the United States. And we want these graduates to be able to have social mobility and labor mobility. And so we want to link them to specialized manufacturing. We have some challenges on simplification and digitalization of permits. And so there's a specific goal on that. We want investments to be able to land in Mexico, not in 2.7 years like it's right now, but in 1 year by the end of the administration. And this is, we have a new ministry for simplification, which its main job is to cut down federal, municipal, and local permits and to homologue them. And when you look at the rest of the goals, they have to do with dual education programs. They have to do with resilience of supply chains. But they also have to do, and to answer specifically your question, to how we navigate a new world in which both the paradigm of what we consider to be market economy, but also what we consider to be globalization, have fundamentally changed. And where we think Mexico can lead this new wave of both market economies and different way to understand globalization. Mexico is currently #1 producer of heavy-duty trucks, #4 of auto parts, #6 of light vehicles, #4 of medical devices, the only country in Latin America that produces semiconductors, particularly ATP. We're top 10 countries and 17 of critical minerals, or the most strategic minerals in the world. We have enormous potential for energy, and specifically in renewable energies and transition energies. And so with the most sophisticated economy in Latin America, the second most sophisticated in the continent, we believe we have a chance not only to specialize, but also to consolidate. Aerospace industry, also top 9 in the world. And so to do this, there is industrial policy that has 5 principles. The first one's, how do we include people we've never included before? Women, young people, small and medium businesses, and south and southeastern part of the country. 2, how do we become more innovative? Because being top 10 in many specialized manufacturing, we still have long way to go in added value. And so how do we incentivize research and development and technology transfer 3, sustainability. And being herself a doctor in energy and sustainability, we are very committed not only to an energy transition, but also to water efficiency programs and to communities. How do we impact positively communities through business? For digitalization, which is one of her main programs, not only to simplify, not only to homologue, but also to give access to better economic, social, and cultural rights to Mexicans, housing, transportation, and whatnot. And the last one is regional vocations. We recognize that free trade should remain as one of the pillars in the world, but also in Mexico. But we also recognize that for free trade to exist, there needs to be fair trade. And we do celebrate that, that policies, even right-wing countries, are looking at trade from a way that says it needs to get better conditions, labor conditions for the working class people. The standard minimum wage of living needs to provide enough quality of life and social mobility. And there needs to be a fight together to eradicate subvaluation, subsidized production, and technical contraband.
Right.
So that is kind of the policy that we've been following, and we think there are enormous perspectives, and we can land this correctly.
Right. Well, it's very interesting because I hear common themes here from all of you about trying to, one, double down on the fact you